Paula here, and today I just want to discuss some tools to help you get your colors straight. I know that's often a problem with some members of various groups having their colors off. And what I'm going to show you here, one is a color palette and a photo palette. I will share this actual file, and I'm not quite sure where this one came from. I believe it's a Corel item, but again, I do not know. And I'm going to zoom in here so you can see. Now, this sheet has a wide variety of colors, skin tones, metallics, and what you would do is just print this out, press it on some fabric, and you'll have it for reference. And I suggest everyone do this for each machine you have, because I have like an Epson 1400 and I also have a Sawgrass, and I press them out for both printers and have that to go back to. This sheet also has a color palette to it, and you could print this out and have this for your reference, because a lot of times I know red is difficult, purple's difficult, and it has a fair amount of colors, but because I do a lot of printing and I use lasers, offset machines, my cake printing, and my regular ink printing, in addition to sublimation. So one thing that I purchased is a color library. I'm going to add a page in here. Now, this is one of the sheets from the color library, and just like that one, I printed this out on paper, pressed it in fabric, and I keep it in the book for something for me to refer back to when I'm trying to get a specific color. Now, the color library came with a large amount of palettes, and so like this one is extended. They'll give it to you for Illustrator and for JPEG, just for your own use. I just use the JPEGs. And again, I never print all of these out, but I will refer back to like the purples a lot, because those colors get thrown off, and also red has a tendency to give me problems, so I might press out one of these sheets of reds. Also in the color library, they have small versions, and then this will give you colors in each range as well. I mostly use the small versions if I'm going to do anything. And I'm going to delete this and show you something else. Now this is part of the software that I'm using. It's Craft Artist 2 Pro. Or Craft Artist Pro 2, sorry. And let me go over here to my palette. I want to clear some of this stuff up because I was left over from what I was doing earlier. Now, I do believe you have a Pallet Generator and Affinity Design. Again, I'm not 100% sure, and I don't know about Photoshop or other programs, but this palette generator, it'll pull the colors out of the picture that I have, and I could use that for reference. Up here I'm going to change this from document to my DigiKit. And then it also allows you to go even more colors than 16. And I'll just regenerate that. And so if I have an item that I want to press, but I need, these specific colors, again, it pops in over there, but I'll go back over here, take my snipping tool again, and press those out just to make sure my colors match. Then also, I always say that, you need to have a good photo editor, regardless of which program you use. Just find a software that works for you and that you're comfortable with and learn it. Now in the photo lab, I can edit this photo, basic things like changing the exposure, brightness, and sometimes it's just basic things that you need to do for a photo. But then you have more options, like you can edit your photo by color selection. Say I go with my greens, and then you just play with the sliders just to show you so you can see what the difference is. On this one I adjusted my greens, and this is the regular picture, what I began with. Again, this way so you can see the difference. And say I wanted to change my sky as well. Here's the cyans. And moving my sliders, I'm playing with that. And again, you could see this one is now much brighter than that one. And like, I know somebody was having problems with too much red in their photo. You can also, play with it in all these different settings that you have. This one was selective color. This one is hue, saturation, luminosity. And again, I'm changing my colors. That's just moving all the colors around. But then again, I can go into my greens and make more changes there. And again, this is what I'm saying. Just get a good photo editor. It doesn't have to be something expensive. Just find something that you're comfortable with and go from there. Now, I'm going to get rid of this puppy real quick. Another thing that works well for me in this particular program, I'm going to clear this, my DigiKit one. And this program also allows you to build your own palettes. And say if I was having problems with purple, I can just pull these purples over here. I can say start with this color purple, and it's going to move around here and it's going to give me more purples. So I can add all these purples and print out the whole thing to test my colors. I can move around my color wheel, adjusting my purples. I have sliders here where I can change the contrast on these, and also the angles, and that will bring in some of these other colors. And there's lots of different types of color setups that you can use. Now, say for example, I'm going with this purple, and I'm going to add all these purples to my palette. I could just add this. Again, use that snipping tool, pull it out, and then put it on my page and print it. But what also helps with this, now say I've printed this out and I know that this is the purple that I want to use every time. So I would come back to this palette, just click it, and it's going to bring that color over here. Now you do have all these colors over here as well, but one thing is different is in the palette designer, the colors are 5 across, and over here they're 4 across. So I'll come back to the palette designer so I know exactly what I need. I need, column 2, row 4, and pick my color from there. And what's also good is, just gonna pull this out. Once I know a specific color purple is going to work for me, then I'll just go from there and just keep these same colors. And the last thing which is good about this program, and I'm sure other programs allow you to save your own palettes, but there's this thing called DigiKit Creator. And I could come down here to my color swatches, and they are all there. So what I would do is say, save this as a DigiKit and say my purples or my reds or my blues. And then when I came back to do a design and I know I needed some of those colors, I can just open up the palette, and it'll put my colors back in the program. Okay, and I guess that pretty much wraps up this video on color selection and how to have a reference charts for your colors.